Hi, thanks again for joining Stop Settling. Today's episode is a sticky one, women versus women. And men, don't tune out. This is about you too. If you would be so kind as to subscribe to this channel, we would absolutely appreciate it. And as always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dana2the5th. Today's topic is women versus women. You may notice I'm wearing my new favorite accessory, my consciously unbiased t-shirt. Perfect for this topic. How many of you have either experienced or witnessed the phenomenon that is women versus women? When I talk to many of you, either in our coaching conversations or interviews for the book, or even in my daily life in working with women and in many initiatives that help with diversity and inclusion, it's pretty universal. I hear a lot of amazing stories and anecdotes about women shoring women up, helping each other, being a village. And I hear that from men and women. And for that, I want to thank you. When I have experienced myself and shared my story and heard some pretty terrifying stories in exchange when women were tearing each other down or not supporting each other up or not being unified, but instead being really mean and vicious, it's disheartening and unfortunately also true. So for as good as we are when we prop each other up and really do the right thing to help women further their careers and themselves, that's fantastic. What I want to focus on for a few minutes today is when it's the opposite and what to do about it. This is going to be a new blog that's coming out, so please check that out on my website, phoenixfifth.com, and also on LinkedIn, where you can see all of my blogs and weigh in and provide your comments and stories. That means the world to me and to others as well. So, a couple of quick stories. In my earlier career, one of the first all-female leadership teams I ever worked with or for came pretty early days for me. I was in my young 30s, new mom, new career, really in a lot of ways, something I hadn't really done before, and an all-executive team of women. And I had high expectations. I thought this for sure was the women's nirvana. I'd be myself. I'd be taken seriously. I'd have a seat at the boardroom table, etc. Unfortunately, what I found was some really divisive behavior, including, shockingly, what we all dread, and for those of us that have experienced it or witnessed it, the 12-year-old middle school, I'm in the bathroom and people are talking bleep about me in the bathroom. Yes, it happened to me. And many of you, I know it's happened to you as well. And when that happens, and women are saying nasty, unkind things, regardless of the why, insecurity, jealousy, maybe you were brought in a higher level and they didn't think you deserved it. Maybe you're younger and they're older. Maybe you're older and they're younger. Who knows? Who cares? It hurts. It hurts, and it takes us back 100 years. If we're going to progress and have a seat at the boardroom table, if we're going to have things like pay parity, those are lofty and aspirational. Why is it that we can't simply treat each other with respect? And this goes for men and women. And if you're relating to what I'm saying right now because you've experienced it or observed it, and frankly, if you've been the one to do it, I want you to take a second and really remember how it feels on all sides of that situation. And nothing good can come of it. Now, I want to explain the punchline as to how I handled it, because I was pretty damn proud of myself. And in my teens and 20s, I assure you I would not have handled it the way I handled it. The way I would have handled it was to wait for those evil women, and they're not really evil, by the way. They're decent human beings, and it was just a really crappy moment, fueled by peer pressure from numbers at work, and I was new, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea. So it was a complex scenario, didn't warrant the behavior regardless. I would have waited in that bathroom stall praying that they didn't know I was in there and waited for them to leave instead of dealing with it. And I would have thought, whew, at least they didn't know I heard. That's not usually what happens as we mature and we get older and more confident and we have belief in ourselves. I didn't come out guns a-blazing, let me tell you, but I did actually open the door. I opened the door and I opened the door hard enough that it was a little surprising that I was in there listening to what they said. The looks on their faces could have sailed 1,000 ships in the other direction back where it came from. They were mortified. I think it was harder for them than it was for me. And frankly, because of that, I didn't feel the need or the desire to confront or say anything else. That sent a strong message. I washed my hands with dignity. I held my head high and actually somehow ended up exiting that restroom before they did. And I thought, good for you, Dana. That's the way to handle it. And things got better from there. We didn't actually talk about it. Some of you are not going to like what I had to say. You're going to think I should have confronted, or maybe I was taking the easy way out, or they deserved more of a face to face. I didn't feel that way. I felt really sure of myself, proud of myself, and like that was enough. That was enough for me personally to send the message that don't talk to me that way to my face or in particular behind it because it's rude and insincere and not constructive or anything having to do with work. And I felt like the strength I showed in not having to race out of that situation with my tail between my legs or anger felt right for me. Now, if that seems wrong to you, please let's get a conversation going right here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Dana to the Fifth, and you could email private comments if you prefer, or thoughts or questions to answers@phoenixfifth.com. Stay tuned. This whole story will get further unpacked in my blog and some really beautiful advice on what you can do if you're in that women v. women scenario, or if you're a man somehow witnessing it and watching it, or even if you're a CEO who knows what's going on in your own organization at any level and you're not doing anything about it. Please, I ask you kindly, open your minds, open your hearts, and let's eradicate women versus women. Until next time.